What is the fastest and most effective way to reduce proteinuria and creatinine levels at all stages of chronic kidney disease, CKD? In my experience, there is one thing I've found to be more effective than anything else in reducing proteinuria and creatinine levels: a personalized renal diet that I've developed and recommended to my patients. This is a science-based approach to a low-protein diet that I've found to be extremely effective, especially if you also include a specific supplement, which I'll talk about later in this video. The reason this diet is effective is because it's easier to follow than traditional kidney diets and is tailored to the patient's individual needs. But how effective is it? Let me tell you, this diet is based on a study in which participants began showing improvements as soon as the diet was initiated. Within just a few weeks on a diet very similar to this one, kidney function went from declining to improving. And you know what the most incredible part is? eGFR, as we saw, increased from 45 to 74 milliliters per minute in just 4.5 months. Wow, that's amazing. We're talking about a 64% improvement in kidney function. This isn't just a slight increase, it's a transformation. And yet, that's not even the most astonishing result from the study. The participants' proteinuria levels dropped from 414, which is very bad, all the way down to 26.8. That's a major shift toward better health. The approach used is extremely innovative and effective. These strategies can be personalized to your specific needs. Whether you're looking for a proactive way to support your kidney function or want a practical method to improve even during the advanced stages, this personalized diet offers a highly effective and easy-to-integrate path into daily life. So if you're interested in starting a diet that's easy to follow, proven, and tailored to your personal needs, remember, with CKD, wait and see is never the right approach. Today, I not only want to show you how innovative and effective this approach can be, but I also want to show you how I can personalize this diet for you, and most importantly, who can follow this diet and who cannot. So there's a lot to cover. Let's start with the most exciting part: personalization. Personalization, unlike clothes at your local discount store, one-size-fits-all does not work when it comes to kidney diets. So how is a kidney diet personalized? The diet you're seeing is just a draft. This plan needs to be specifically adjusted for each and every one of you. All these diets are based on whole, plant-based foods, because we're not savages. But wait, this is not your basic vegetarian starter kit. Depending on your proteinuria levels, diabetes status, potassium levels, body weight, blood pressure, and hundreds of other factors, the food list I recommend can change faster than a politician changes positions during election season. It'll change faster than you can Google, "Do I have to give up bacon for this?" Let's say you have high proteinuria. In that case, some of your best food choices might include ginger and turmeric. In fact, studies show that daily consumption of turmeric can significantly reduce proteinuria levels. Patients with proteinuria may even be advised to take turmeric as a supplement. Another fantastic food for proteinuria is flaxseed. This tiny seed is amazing. It helps protect the kidneys, especially in people with inflammatory kidney diseases, which often involve high proteinuria. There are studies showing flaxseed can even improve GFR in these patients. Now, let's say you have diabetes. How would I personalize your diet? The foods I might recommend would include things like okra. This food contains a special kind of fiber that slows down sugar absorption in the digestive tract, leading to a more stable blood sugar response. Bitter melon is also fantastic. You can find it in Asian markets. Studies show that eating bitter melon daily is like punching diabetes in the face. Patients have seen significant reductions in weight, HbA1c levels, and even preserved kidney function just by eating this food. In short, a kidney diet is not one size fits all. It's a meticulous, personalized plan designed to keep your kidneys as happy as possible. Think of it as nutrition with a mission, a way to turn every meal into a proactive strike against CKD. Personalization for CKD with and without diabetes. Another very important way I would personalize your diet is based on your calorie needs. This can make a huge difference for people who need to fight diabetes. Let me explain. You may think you know everything about cutting sugar and carbs, but brace yourself, there's more. If you have diabetes or need to lose weight, sugary foods are public enemy number one. We're talking candy, snack bars, energy drinks, cookies, fruit juice, and of course, anything made from that beloved refined white flour. If it's sugary, processed, or comes in packaging with cartoons on it, it needs to go. I know none of this is new information, but hang on, there's more. There's another type of food that most people with diabetes don't realize they need to avoid, and this might shock some folks. Pure added fat. Olive oil and oils in general, all those healthy fats you've been told are good for you, including butter, are now enemy territory if you have diabetes. Why? Because of calories. Let me break it down for you. 2 tablespoons of olive oil you pour on your salad? That's a sneaky 250 calories. Yep, 250 calories you just consumed without even noticing. That's like eating half a Big Mac without even taking a bite of the bun. Congrats, you just turned your salad bowl into a dry meal with zero joy. Please don't let anyone tell you good calories don't count. Calories do not care about your feelings. It doesn't matter if they come from olive oil or sugar, every calorie is a calorie, and they all add up. In case you didn't know, olive oil is more calorie-dense than almost anything on Earth, yes, even sugar. Remember, it's not where your calories come from that makes you gain weight, it's simply the amount. Anyone who says otherwise is either lying or just doesn't know. That's why if you have diabetes, or if you need to lose weight sustainably, pure added fats are off limits. But don't worry, it's all part of personalization. Personalized diet for underweight individuals. Now, suppose the opposite is true, you are underweight. This is actually quite common, unfortunately, because patients in advanced stages often experience nausea, along with kidney disease-related inflammation. Many patients have trouble absorbing nutrients from food. You can imagine that nausea combined with poor absorption is a recipe for disaster. So, what food should people with advanced kidney disease who may suffer from nausea and a lack of appetite focus on? When it comes to adding more calories per bite, your best friends are high-fat foods. That's right, the very foods that are off limits for people with diabetes. Fat has a higher calorie density than the other 2 macronutrients, carbs and protein. So, what foods would I include in the diet of a CKD, chronic kidney disease, patient who asks me to help them gain weight? First, olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, if you can find it. This oil is excellent for your health because it's rich in monounsaturated fats with powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Olive oil is effective in reducing inflammation. Its effects, when used regularly, are comparable to some NSAIDs. But of course, if you can't find or can't afford good olive oil, other oils, particularly avocado oil or seed oils, can also help. Even margarine, while not as beneficial as olive oil, is a better option if the alternative is starving because you can't eat enough. In that case, go ahead and use margarine. Another thing I often recommend is nut butters. Almond butter is like the superhero of nut butters. It contains lots of magnesium, which is vital for kidney health. It helps lower blood pressure, fights inflammation, and even assists with diabetes when consumed in moderation. If you can't find almond butter, peanut butter is always there to back you up. Just don't rely on it too much, as it's high in protein, and we're aiming for fats here. Oils are better from this perspective. Remember, for those who are losing too much weight, malnutrition is enemy number one. Anything this type of patient can eat is beneficial, especially if it's calorie-dense. Yes, there are patients who need extra calories to survive. For these patients, even sugary foods, sweetened items, white bread, and pasta are not off limits. I know what you might be thinking right now, but sugar causes inflammation. It spikes glucose, causes diabetes, wrinkles, car accidents, inflation, and 20-minute unskippable ads. Most people eat starches and sugars at breakfast, or maybe they just have a cup of coffee with sugar. If you create a massive glucose spike at breakfast, it actually might control your entire day. And yes, sugar is more addictive than anything, and it can take over your life if you're drinking sugary coffee. Look, this kind of misinformation is exactly why you want a personalized diet if you have CKD. Not everyone has diabetes. Not everyone is trying to lose weight. Advice to avoid sugar is great for many people, but not for everyone. For some patients, it can actually be harmful. Imagine being afraid to add a spoonful of honey to your smoothie just because some Instagram influencer said not to, and you only weigh 90 pounds. Let's be real, folks, some of these influencers would starve you for fame. But remember, if there's one thing more important than following trends on Instagram, it's being alive. Vitamins for a low-protein diet. Speaking of which, the renal diet is your number one weapon against proteinuria, kidney disease progression, diabetes, and high blood pressure. However, it has one major limitation: the risk of nutritional deficiencies. This can be a bigger issue for some patients than others, so there are certain nutrients we really have to pay attention to when starting a renal diet. The first is vitamin B12. There are no plant-based foods that contain this vitamin. If you're not supplementing it, you're taking a big risk. The same goes for omega-3. These fatty acids are essential, and you may be at risk of deficiency when following a plant-based diet. In fact, while there are many plant-based foods that contain omega-3, including walnuts, flax seeds, and more, these are not the same types of omega-3 you get from animal products. They need to be converted by the body, and this is not an efficient process. So, just like with B vitamins, you'll want to supplement omega-3 when starting a plant-based diet. By the way, don't take cod liver oil, fish liver oil, or anything like that. You only want to supplement EPA and DHA. Zinc is also very important, a nutrient that's hard to get from a plant-based diet. You can get some from foods like pumpkin seeds, lentils, chickpeas, and quinoa, but the total intake may still be below what's needed, especially considering bioavailability. Not to mention, medications like phosphate binders or iron supplements interfere with zinc absorption. So what should you do? You'll also need to supplement zinc, but in low doses. Now, if you want to know everything about the vitamins you need, I've covered these in great detail in a recent video. Can you follow a low-protein diet? Of course, the biggest risk here is protein deficiency or malnutrition. In fact, this risk creates the difference between people who can follow a plant-based renal diet and those who cannot. Okay, remember I mentioned patients in advanced stages of kidney disease who have trouble maintaining their body weight? For those patients, a plant-based renal diet can be a significant risk. They may be at risk of malnutrition or may not get enough protein and calories in their diet. Now, this is not common for most people. It's nearly impossible to eat too little protein to the point that it harms your body if you're eating enough food every day. However, for patients who cannot eat enough, malnutrition can occur. Insufficient calorie intake can lead to the body using protein for energy, which is harmful. This is called protein energy wasting. It can reduce muscle mass, cause inflammation, and lead to other problems. That's exactly why you must talk to your doctor before starting a renal diet. We can identify whether a patient is at risk of malnutrition by checking their serum protein levels. There are two ways to address and prevent this issue. The first is to ensure the patient consumes enough calories each day. Remember when I said that for some patients, even margarine and sweet foods can be part of the diet? The second way to avoid the risk of malnutrition is to use a special type of amino acid supplement called keto analogs. So what are keto analogs and how can they help us? The reason this supplement is helpful is because it contains all the essential amino acids you would get from eating protein in your food. But taking a scoop of this is not like eating a piece of steak. And no, I'm not just talking about how it tastes more like chalk than steak. It's because this supplement contains amino acids, the building blocks of protein, but without nitrogen. Nitrogen is the main kidney toxin we get from protein, and it's also why CKD patients need to avoid protein. So what happens when you remove most of the protein from your diet and use this instead? You preserve your kidney function for longer, and you're not at risk of malnutrition or any of the negative effects of a low-protein diet. Yes, supplementing with these special amino acids while following a low-protein diet is a powerful way to significantly delay dialysis in advanced CKD patients. Now, folks, these supplements must be prescribed by a nephrologist. There are many brands and formulas, each with pros and cons that need to be evaluated before you start using them. But I can mention a few brands you can look up if you're interested. Some brands that sell these amino acids include Fruz, Albutrix, and Corina. Fruz is the most commonly used and well-studied brand, but it's prescription only. Corina doesn't require a prescription, but you'll still want your nephrologist to approve using it. So, talk to your doctor if you think you need them, and feel free to email me if you want to follow a diet that makes the use of these supplements effective. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you all. Goodbye.